right, let's talk Alabama Crimson Tide. Kalen DeBoer, look, he is in I don't want to say it's a must-win kind of season, but it definitely feels like he needs to take a big step. But the reality is, if you're going to be the head coach of the Tide, you always have to be simultaneously focused on the short term and the long term as well. Kalen DeBoer, you better believe him and his staff are laser focused on 2025, but they're also doing a great job for the future, the out years as well. And we've got an exciting update on that specifically today. But first, I'm Nick, and this is Saturday Morning Inspection. All right, Alabama's going to do right now what Alabama has done so well, and that's pulling off massive recruiting wins. And it looks like they're going to get another big one here, beating out some top rivals to get a national recruit. We're talking Max Sutter, tight end prospect of the 2026 Classic in the out years. Let's pull up this report, courtesy of the Sporting News. According to On3 Sports, Sutter is a four-star tight end prospect hailing from Dunlap, Illinois. He is currently ranked as the number 6 tight end in the 2026 class and is also ranked number 111 overall in the nation. Sutter is receiving a lot of interest from quite a few programs. Listen, this kid's 6'6", 240. He's a great athlete, and you can see why. However, it sure looks like Alabama's in a great position to land his commitment at this point in time. On3 Sports has offered their current predictions for where Sutter will end up, and at the time of this writing, the Crimson Tide are given a 61.0% chance of bringing Sutter on board. Behind them are Illinois, the in-state. In-state's always going to get a boost there at 25%. Ole Miss at 30%, and both Penn State and Ohio State have 2% chances. All right, the fact that Alabama is able to go deep into Big Ten country and take over prize recruits, seems like they're about to do just that. I think is a good indication for Kalen DeBoer's reign with the Crimson Tide. They did this all the time with Saban. The question was going to be, can they continue with him gone? And it looks like they can based on this Max Sutter update right here. Miles, I'm curious what your thoughts are on this, but first, Tide fans in the comment section below. We're talking freshmen or potentially future freshmen. Let's talk about current freshmen. Which incoming freshmen are you really excited to see for the Crimson Tide? Spring ball is not that far away, so we'll be able to see these guys in the pads before too much longer. Let us know which freshmen you're really pumped to see suit up for Alabama. Put them in the comment section below. But Miles, what are your thoughts on this latest update involving the Crimson Tide?
Yeah, Nick, I think this is a really bright update for the Crimson Tide in a couple of different ways. I think obviously the player himself seems like a really solid player, so if they get him, that in itself would be good for the Tide. But if we go back and we look what the Tide were able to do in 2025, I think they did some good stuff. A top 20 transfer portal class, a top 3 ranked recruiting class. But when you look at where they recruited from, they did East Coast, Southeast, Southeast, East Coast, and then they did West Coast. They had 7 guys out of California. Then they had a bunch of guys, Georgia, Alabama, Florida, Mississippi. So just in that general area was when the bulk of the recruiting does. And they didn't really hit anybody out of the Big Ten country like we alluded to with this prospect here. I think being able to get their foray, try to get a deeper pipeline all over the country is going to be big for them. And as far as this 2026 class, they don't really have much in it anyways. They only have one commitment so far in the 2026 class. That's Zion Gibson, a 4-star out of Alabama. So I think this is really great momentum in that direction. DeBoer really put a lot of time and effort into this 2025 class, and it's great. It shows he did a great job, but I think I would really like to see some more momentum going towards 2026. This is the first sign of that. Really great odds for Alabama to pull this guy. Really good odds for them to beat out some really big powerhouses in the Big Ten, showing they go toe-to-toe with those former, Penn State college football playoff contender, Ohio State, the current reigning national champion. Really great for Alabama here. I just think overall, strong moves for Coach DeBoer, showing he is not afraid to go into Big Ten country. And if he can get through this season, they have a really strong pipeline already started in the Big Ten area for that 2026 class.
Yeah, let's go into Max Sutter here for a little bit. He comes from a high school. It's got about 1,300 kids. They're not like a state powerhouse in Illinois. In Illinois, look, is a decent football state. It's not a great football state. It's not the Southeast. It's not California. It's not Texas. It's not Ohio or Pennsylvania. So the fact that this kid early on in the cycle is a top 100-ish player and is rated as highly as he is, I think he's about to leap up because early in the process, players that are from high recruiting areas and really big name schools, they are rated much, much higher. And then as people get more film and these recruiting sites do deeper analysis, we're going to start seeing the guys from smaller programs or not as well known states in terms of recruiting prowess come and leap into the fold and leapfrog some of these other big name recruits. And I think Sutter's going to be one of those guys that when it's all said and done is going to be a top 80, 70, 60, 50 kind of tight end. Because like I said, he's 6'6", 230 pounds and a great athlete. He's a young kid. He's only going to get bigger, stronger, and faster. But here's what I really like about this from the Alabama perspective. If you look at who they're going up against and who they're favored heavily to win, Illinois in-state, yeah, we get it. But Ohio State just won the national championship. They're given a 2% chance. It's unbelievable. Big Ten country. Illinois is right there. And you got a kid here in Sutter who wants to go to Alabama reportedly over Ohio State, a team that just won national championship. Alabama didn't end the season very well. In fact, they lost to a Big Ten team, Michigan. Despite that, they were able to recruit deep in a Big Ten country. How about Penn State? Made the college football playoff. Their tight end Warren is going to be a first round pick, make a lot of money in the NFL. He's going to be a great player. Despite that, though, Sutter doesn't necessarily want to go to Penn State. He wants to go to Alabama. I think that speaks once again to DeBoer's ability to recruit. I think the biggest question mark we're going to have to see from Coach DeBoer is can he develop players and can he handle X's and O's and in-game strategy, right? Those were the two question marks. He developed well at Washington and handled in-game stuff well at Washington. SEC's a different beast. Last year, we'll call it a C grade in those two factors. But when it comes to recruiting, he's doing a great job, and I think he's going to pull off another massive move here. If he can handle the player development, if he can get a little bit better at the adjustment things, which, look, first year in the SEC coming from out west, it's going to be a culture shock. Let's be totally honest here. Hopefully, he corrects some of those problems. I think he will. The recruiting will remain solid. He'll pull off a move like the signing of Max Sutter, and the future will continue to look bright for the Crimson Tide. There's a lot of doom and gloom about Kalen DeBoer right now, and some of it's warranted, rightly so. The way last season ended was very disappointing, but I also think there's a lot of reason for optimism, and reports like this should fuel that.